Back to the last Pofit. Have 4 people watching as well. Oh, I don't know. Where's the enemy gone? They've all buggered off. Oh, there they are.
Now to salvage Cadmus's forces and retake their ammunition supply point. If resistance is too heavy, strip the Brainiac forces' neural cores after you defeat them.
We've got to go and save that bloke and get him back in the fight.
And stops further
I remember doing
reinforcements.
this last time. Is he still up there? Is he still up there? There he is.
You're right. I'm better than this. I need to get back to the fight.
Last Pofit! Oh dear. Yeah, I'm pretty much done with most of the anti-SJW movement. I think most of the problem is that they're completely out of gas. But,
Ow, my head! I'm seeing stars.
but you know, they're completely either self-serving or apologists for people who are just obnoxious. I watched people defending on Twitter Tara McCarthy. I'm like, she's horrible. She says the most obnoxious, fascistic bullshit.
Damage sustained.
Thanks. I didn't think anyone was coming for me.
Recharge complete.
I haven't got any room for fascists. I can tolerate conservatives, and I can tolerate libertarians. You know, I can even tolerate anarcho-capitalists because I can slightly see their point that fascists new way. You know, fascism is just it's a horrible philosophy.
Security measures in the immediate vicinity.
Those metalheads are still after me.
Cadmus reinforcements deployed to ammo supply point.
Those metalheads are still after me. I'm heading to command. I'll send help.
And that's kicking your ass.
Target engaged. Minor damage. Increasing security at ammunition supply point. Searching for source of
It's a
disturbance.
better. There. I wish Bomber Guide hurry up with more videos. I've watched all of this stuff and it's really entertaining. Part of the reason why I started doing a shift over to the SJW side, because at least they make a fucking effort. All these streams about nothing or about drama, oh god, they're so boring. At least my streams on here, I'm playing a game. I'm exposing the brilliance of someone's
Now you must reset Cadmus's
character
defense systems
design.
in the command base. Here, we may have an edge. The
I'm not
base
blowing my
is
own trumpet there.
radiating
I'm
a
talking about
subsonic
all the other
interference wave that affects the Brainiac
heroes.
sparks in the area. Flip their neural cores, and you can reset them to your advantage.
Old chums. Shoulder pads. It's a weird thing. I watched a video by Chagrin, and she made well. I was talking to, well, I wasn't even talking to her on Twitter, and she came out with such a weird comment about being naked and being fat, and then I watched one of her videos. She's not even skinny, she's fat. Well, she's not grotesquely fat, but she's definitely overweight. I'm like, well, why did you make such a big deal out of me talking about salads? If you're not
Control
even
center
slim.
defense
I'm
sequence
like,
activated.
fuck off. These people are mental. I think they just like being angry. You know, it's like sort of yeah, they need a fake emotion all the blooming time. They're like these people who watch nothing but Dancing with the Stars and make out that all of the people just dancing, oh, they're in love, oh, they're paso dobles. I'm like, oh, he gives a fuck. I was watching TV at my mum's. The number one thing is how boring everything is, how tame everything is. None of it's got any passion. None of it's got any big fat Brian, you suck. Ah.
Prime
So big fat Brian, you suck.
Transport
Oh, well.
kryptonite cache immediately.
Surprised you didn't say Pofit, you suck. But yeah. If he wants me to think that he sucks, then
Opponent's
So Brian, what do you actually suck? Oh, he's gone. Oh, there's a surprise.
Control center defense sequence complete.
Directive.
Defensive
Protect
measures are now
kryptonite.
online.
Eliminate intruders.
Do, 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 do. There's a bloke who I actually feel a bit sorry for him, really. He seems to make an effort to make videos, and then he sort of does really good for about a week, and then it just goes nowhere. Like he's sort of lost the will to carry on. I don't know, maybe he's got manic depression or something. I remember reading about a manic depressive who took apart his motorcycle. In a manic moment, he took it apart to every tiny piece, and then he got into the depression phase. He couldn't put it back together again, so he needed someone else to do it for him.
You may not want to face this battle alone. Once the accumulators are down and the kryptonite is safe, Oracle will hack the ship's teleporter so you can deactivate
I'm sure
the Prime
Tonga's
Servitor
probably bitching
itself.
about me. Oh, betrayal, betrayal. It's funny. When I see all this stuff from the right wing about how SJWs and millennials are all snowflakes, and then you look at the right wing and they're the most overreactionary, petty, thin-skinned bunch of wankers I've ever seen. Especially people like Alex Jones. Oh, I'm a big tough guy, but people say stuff about my waistline. Oh, I'm like, fuck off, mate. You're. I think the funniest video I've ever seen of Alex Jones was he went to somewhere that was ultra liberally lefty
Recharge complete. Firing destruction ring.
and some bloke threw a drink at him or something like that, and his reaction was, you think the bloke had poured acid on him, and he was following him down the street going, "Rrr." Oh yeah, he gave him the finger, and he was like acting like the bloke had sort of threatened to kill him, and I was like, I thought the right wing's supposed to be this big tough, take no shit group, and you're overreacting like some sort of special snowflake. Still, it's pretty. I think these people are just obsessed with drama and obsessed with self-identification as victims. It's very weird. It's like all the right-wing Christians who keep going on and on about being victims all the time. It's very weird. And they'll go on and on about how SJWs play a victim narrative all the time. And you're like, dude, you're the one who's saying that people aren't sort of was it the happy holidays thing? You know, some people in businesses don't want to be reminded every 5 minutes of the Christian side of Christmas. They're only interested in the present giving and you know, seeing their families. They're not all sort of believing in the baby Jesus, all that crap. It's not really part of what's in people's heads. You know, religion is okay in small doses, but not everyone goes to church every Sunday to masturbate over their own personality. Because that's really what religion does. It makes people very, very arrogant and egotistical, and under the belief that they're right. That's why Americans are so obsessed with with religion. I think it's also because Americans don't have a state religion. If they had a state religion, they'd be like the British. They sort of like give no shits.
Missile sequence. Missile lock. System failure. Analyzing ability to resume directive. Negative.
Victory is yours. Brainiac has failed to gain the green kryptonite. We will store it now at the watchtower, where it can be properly guarded. The Justice League thanks you, and I will certainly contact you again. Martian Manhunter, out.
Yeah, I've got to sit down at some point and play around with this new program I got on my computer, that so I can stream what I'm looking at on the YouTube. Right, where are we?
You! I'm hit! Ooh. You want some of this? Go ahead, punk. Make my day. You little punk!
Does amaze me at how many people on YouTube keep pushing this, you know, send money to my Patreon.
It's go time.
Like, can't you just do it because you like doing it? Why have you got to constantly keep beating on the ear roll for money?
I hope the heroes kick your ass.
Still, I think that's pretty much all Andy Warski does now, is his bloody Warski streams, which, you know, nothing's resolved. All they do is shout at each other like a bunch of retards.
It's go time.
And it's pretty cancerous as well, like, you know, whenever I see Blair White or Ian Miles Chong are going to be in a stream, I go, no. Because Blair usually has absolutely zero to say. Just keeps repeating people's names and acting like a drama queen all the bloody time. If it's Ian Miles Chong, you know he's going to just be lying through his teeth constantly, so it's a complete waste of time. And also he'll cry about what a victim he is and how everyone should be tearful for him. Oh, the SJWs, they turned on me. Yeah, they turned on you, mate, because you were lying and almost got people bloody sued. But he likes forgetting that narrative about how he pretty much accused a whole group of people of being rapists and singled out one of them, but actually got the name wrong. And you know, if you're going to accuse someone of something and then you get the name wrong, and it turns out they're not the person you think they are, you know, that can backfire badly.
LexCorp implanted tracking devices in all of their metahuman experiment subjects. The monitoring station is on the hospital roof. Get up there and overload the station. So
That's explained to my niece about, or at the cinema, they had the advert for...
Sorry about that. Oracle is blocking any more transmissions from Lex's unique point of view.
Battlefront 2.
For now, join Supergirl
That's to explain
inside.
to her why Battlefront 2.
So they can
she saw it and went, oh, that was really good. And I went, it's not. And then I had to explain to her what loot crates were and how EA, you know, pretty much gave the middle finger to anyone who was a fan of the game. Oh no. Oh shit. Oh, it's going to be one of those where I keep disappearing into the floor. No.
There are people trapped in tubes inside the hospital. Metas, but still people. They're being processed in tubes.
I'm hit.
I just have to keep flying.
You want some of this?
I rewatched Dunkirk last night because I'd been out with my mum and my stepdad, and I thought, you know, I don't want to spend the evening watching Strictly Come Dancing, so I knew neither of them had seen Dunkirk, and it is a really good film, so we spent the evening watching that. It's not, though, my one is it's not as good watching it on a small screen than it was at a cinema. If you got surround sound, you should watch it with surround sound, because you know, it's very much a movie that lends itself better to a good sound system. What I really like about it is the Hans Zimmer soundtrack it's perfect. It goes on and on and on and on, and it's great. It builds. It's like an element of the
Don't come any closer.
the actual background of the movie. You know, it's a little bit like in Dark Knight with the
Where did he go?
music that they used in that.
So you found my metahuman experiments. What else can you find? Let's see how well you do with a little game of hide and seek.
Dr. Psycho. Ah! Don't go on the floor. Oh. Come on, oh!
Here I am. 3 blind mice. 3 blind mice.
Ah!
Nicely done, but we've only just begun. See you soon.
He's quoting Carpenter's songs.
Chief Researcher's Journal. Always wear insulated gloves when handling cryotechnic samples.
Oh. Well, from what I've seen of the Doctor Who trailers, I'm actually looking a little bit forward
Sometimes
to
I
the
think there just isn't enough of me
Christmas
to go
special.
around. Time to change that. How about a little more me?
My back's still fucked. Oh.
Pop goes the
Hello.
weasel.
Hello. Disappeared into the floor. Oh shit.
It's been a real blast. I'm so happy I could burst. Sorry to burst your bubble.
I can't move. Oh! I can't move. Ah! Oh, there we go. Oh! If I die, I'll
There she blows.
Oh, bollocks! Glitch! Bloody glitch! And it updates every couple of months, and they still have this fucking glitch. Come on!
Fire in the hole!
I can hear it, but I can't see it. Oop. It's the next level up. Oop. Try not to go through the floor every 5 fucking minutes. Oh, there it is. Oh, I can hear it. Where's that bag? I got myself
Chief
something.
Researchers General.
Sweet.
These vines are growing so rapidly,
sweet.
I'm worried about the container's integrity.
No rice cakes. That's rice cakes. Aha! I got myself some chocolate liqueurs. Liqueurs. As JF would probably say. Yeah. I ventured into, well, where my mum lives, there's a lot of poundlands and stuff like that because it's a little bit like Florida in the UK. It's sort of lots of very old people live in Margate and Ramsgate because, well, because it's near the sea and it's had an effect that the local authorities have mainly put shops in that are better for elderly people because, you know, they can't afford sort of things like Marks and Spencer's because they're old. You know, their pensions only stretch so far. So you got loads of cheap shops. Some of them are actually quite good. Went to a down at the sea. They got like a sort of cafe bar that was really reasonable prices. And it was full of old people.
Dr. Cisco journal entry, meta research project.
I know some people aren't very respectful of the old. I am very respectful. You know, I feel a lot of, with the Brexit thing, a lot of elderly people were duped by the right wing, particularly Nigel Farage and his obnoxious
You
UKIP
have no
party,
idea what it's like to be me.
into believing
What gives
that
you the right? You think
if
you
they
can stand in
voted
judgment
the
over
right
me?
way, it
Time
would
for you to
benefit
walk a mile in my shoes.
the NHS,
One
which
day,
a lot
all
of
these
old people are
heroes will be
relying
my
on.
slaves.
It's utter
Today,
bullshit.
their mere image will be your death.
Behave yourself.
You're gonna feel this. It's time to hit things.
Dark chocolate with alcohol in it.
Big mistake.
I don't think there's enough for me to get pissed on it, which is probably a good idea. Yeah. All those cunts on Tonka's stream, a lot of them like reminding me that I got very upset before, a little bit sort of tearful when I was drunk. And the reality is, I am still pretty upset about my dad's death.
It's not as dangerous when
I actually believe that had he been given THC, you know, marijuana, he probably would have died slower and not in so much. He did have phases of depression, which does happen to people, particularly when they're on opiates. I just think THC would have been a much better thing, because my dad did smoke marijuana.
Sorry,
you know, he denied it for quite a while, but he did like smoking joints, particularly when he was working away from home. And there's a lot of research into how THC is actually better for pain relief and people who are having chemotherapy, because it doesn't you don't get the lack of appetite. Because one of the problems is, because chemotherapy is pretty much a type of poisoning. You're poisoning the system, trying to mutate the cancerous cells to the point that the body will
How can you resist my illusions?
Will reject the mutated cells, and the body heals itself. One of the biggest problems is the toxins needed to mutate the cells can make the person very nauseous.
Thank you. Dr. Psycho weakened me with kryptonite and stuck me in this red sunlight cage.
If the cells are mutated enough for the body to treat it,
I have to go talk to Cal.
if they've had long-term
thanks again.
Hunger problems,
maybe we can talk when I don't feel so sick.
Their body's too weak to fight off the illness, which is really sad. You know, I've lost probably 12 members of my family to cancer over the years. You know, I understand death is part of life, that you know, if everyone lived forever, it wouldn't be manageable. We'd have overpopulation to the point where it'd be unmanageable. But I still miss my dad, and it's not nice to have strangers who I've got no idea who these people are using that as a way of hurting me. But maybe that bloke at the MIFCON thing was right, that they are deplorables. That people who, you know, were cheering for Sargon when he was boasting about telling a woman he wouldn't even rape her. I'm like, you know, what sort of person would actually think that that is a plus? That that level of abuse of someone, even someone you don't like. You know, I'm at a loss most of the time with...
Oracle is blocking any more transmissions from Lex's unique point
well, I
of
call
view.
it... I see it as
join
untapped
Supergirl
cruelty.
inside. Help the metas and arrest whoever's in charge so they can stand trial for these crimes.
I'm a firm believer in attack upwards, don't attack downwards.
Starlabs in Metropolis, thank you for stepping in at Metro General. As long as Lex Luthor is hurting and exploiting people for his own gain, we will always need heroes like you.
Because he's a big, rich piece of shit arsehole. But if someone's emotionally fragile, the last thing you should be doing is picking on them.
Commissioner Gordon needs your help in Gotham. Meet him at the East End Police Station.
But, you know, the deplorables, they seem to think that that being cruel and nasty and petty and pathetic is like a mark of honour. And really, my feeling is, and I even pointed this out to Tonka, I said, what happens if for 2 months you couldn't get access to the internet? Do you really think people are going to wait around? They'll just go off to some other...
Batman says you're the one to solve the situation we've got down at Amusement Mile. Move out. I'll meet you there.
This is Batman. Joker's clowns are turning the old Amusement Mile theme park into a riot zone. Gotham PD is overwhelmed. I'll track down the Joker. You take care of his clowns. Batman out.
It's really tasty. Can really taste the alcohol in them as well. Quite nice for a pound. I've got to sit down at some point and watch a load of Stuart Ashen's oh, hang on, what's that? Oh no. Stuart Ashen's Poundland videos, because usually around Christmas and Easter, these pound shops will make their own versions of Christmas stuff, and they're badly made and they're pretty horrendous.
Listen up. Joker clowns are holding cops hostage over at the old
usually
roller coaster.
Made of really
I
crappy
need you to get those men to safety.
And covered in things like that sour stuff.
What's this? Has an uninvited guest stumbled into my toxin testing ground? So sorry I can't be there to welcome you in person. Enjoy the party, if it doesn't kill you first.
Mark Hamill. It's a shame he's doing the voice of the Joker and not the voice of the Trickster, because I'm more of a Trickster fan than a Joker fan. because the trickster is isn't a psychotic. He's bonkers, but he's not like evil.
It's all in good fun. Who doesn't
Still, it's like Toy Man. I much prefer the Bruce Timm Toy Man to any of the other versions, because the Bruce Timm one, it's more of a sad character, and you actually feel sorry for him. And why he's doing crime is to basically get revenge, because he was a little boy who was taken care of by a toy maker who was killed by the mob. So it's a super villain. I always like the super villains who have a reason the way they are. Like Parasite, I always like, because he was a bloke who was basically betrayed and was sort of a down on his luck type of bloke. Hands off your cocks and on with your socks.
I'm hit.
Oh dear mate.
I'm on it. Call for backup.
Oh, I've got one viewer again. I don't know. I you know, it's not the whole having a huge fan base. That's something that really made me laugh with that Chagrin bird. She made such a big deal about not wanting to go on a stream with me because I've got less viewers in it, and I'm like, oh yeah, that's so important to me. I've never monetized one video on YouTube in the entire life, but oh, that's so important. Your collection of drooling morons. I'm like, oh yeah, they're really important. No. The sort of fan bases people have are usually more of, it says more about them than anything else. You know, if you look at the up-like comments on someone like Sargon of Akkad, you can pretty much see that the sort of right-wing sad case jerks that he has around him. That, and it's rather hilarious when you've got someone who's cleverer than Sargon. You know, there were 2 streams of Destiny, and both of them ended pretty badly. But, well, like most of these alt-right anti-SJWs who go on all confident and all, oh, I'm going to tear him a new bumhole and all this stuff, and then they get on there and they're pretty much owned in no time at all. Even Bunty King, who I quite like Bunty because he's upbeat, and I understand completely why he's an upbeat person. You know, that he's probably had, I wouldn't say a hard life, but You know, I remember seeing a video he did where he was showing pictures of himself when he was younger, and he looked a bit of a geek. And you know, I understand why people would want to sort of jig their personality, and you know, it makes complete sense to me why you'd want to be something else than you are. You know, I use masks when I'm sort of doing silly videos, because, you know, if you're wearing a mask, you're not actually yourself, you're something else, which, you know, that's what superheroes do. But a lot of people do wear masks, particularly on YouTube. Sometimes it's basically just extenuations of their extensions of their personality. It's a bit like wrestling, actually. A lot of pro wrestlers, the really successful ones, are the ones who've taken part of their personality and magnified it. Like The Rock.
Goodbye,
All of his success came from being charismatic and talking about being the people's champion, even though he wasn't. It was all about him, and it was sort of a Mickey take of 80s wrestling. And that's where he became successful, because for a while he was going to be like a real sort of villainous heel. But in the end, he was so popular, even when he was taking the piss out of the public, that he basically won over the crowd. It's a little bit like Steve Austin was the same. He was so non-bullshit that he got he gained an appeal because he wasn't an 80s style good guy wrestler. He would give people the finger. My favourite American wrestler didn't really ever go for characters. He'd be like a sort of tough guy. Because my favourite American wrestler is Stan the Lariat Hansen, who did more in Japan than in America. Yeah, I'm up to 19. Three more to go. Still haven't worked out how to use those nanite box things. I was going to hear one there. They take up too much space in my inventory.
You're gonna die laughing.
Stub my toe. Ow. Yeah. I'm not a big fan of YouTube drama. There's been a lot over the years that are funny. I like it when you've got someone who is overconfident in their position and it completely backfires. But none of it's new. The whole alt-right thing, for me, is just basically it particularly in the way that a lot of the alt-right now reacts towards skeptics and atheists in particular. They just seem to be like a clone of the wacky side of the creationist right.
I have a little present for you.
But you know, creationism pretty much died in like 2011 on YouTube.
Don't say I never gave you anything.
And then a lot of the
of course, you know this means war.
There was a massive split because of things like lift gates in the YouTube atheist movement in particular.
Goodbye, Grohl World.
That and added to that was Atheism Plus, which, you know, was like a sort of cult-like group who wanted to make all atheism about left-wing issues, and when asked on things, they'd go, just do it, you know. Pretty much acting like a religion, you know. People not explaining why you had to do A, B and C is pretty much most of the reason why a lot of people broke away from religion, in that, you know, it didn't have answers to why you had to do things, so people rejected the faith for that exact reason. But Atheism Plus, spurred on a lot by the more crazy elements of feminism,
I'm on it.
and unfortunately that narrative was worsened by the event of Gamergate,
You're gonna go,
where
with a big
a lot of the people who weren't really atheists started getting involved, namely gamers, and a lot of them were pretty ugh. You know, Sargon of Akkad basically came from the whole Gamergate thing.
This means war.
And part of the problem is that it didn't really go anywhere in the end. All it did was create opposing forces who, well, it's like the whole Ghostbusters 2016 thing created a lot of people on
this is the big one. Gonna go. Goodbye, big kaboom. Ha 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 ha. This is the big one. Ha. Goodbye, Grohl World.
Yeah, it created a lot of people who were critical of that film, but then they became critical of everything. And people like Mundane Matt, who I just got sick and tired of in the end, because all of his anything new was treated exactly the same. Oh, it's not as good as this, it's not as good as that. And in some cases, it was utter bullshit, like the new Star Trek series. You know, oh, it's not as good as the Next Generation. Well, yeah, well, so what? You know, these shows have to slowly develop on their own. They can't just be what you want all the time. You know, each new show gets its own new fan base. It's as simple as that. And yes, I'd love it if there'd been like 10 seasons of the Next Generation, because it is one of my favourite Star Trek shows. But the reality is that all shows run out of steam. Even Smallville did. Well, a lot of people reckon Smallville was out of steam by season 6, and they sort of just held on to the show as long as they could, because it became the longest running, continual running American TV show.
Before I go, I have a little present for you. Well, lots of them, in fact. Some of them hold suffocating GCPD officers. Others, well, that'll be a fun surprise, won't it? Don't say I never gave you anything.
Let's get rid of some of this shit.
Step right up, kid!
Get rid of that. Yeah, that's cool. Oh, I lost someone. That's mad. Probably went for their dinner. Yeah, the toxicity of the whole skeptic community, you can pretty much trace it back to Milo Yiannopoulos. And the most amazing thing about Milo Yiannopoulos is that, you know, he's not even a skeptic. He's just basically a hack. He's a hack journalist who latched himself onto the Gamergate movement, even though it's been found out since that before the Gamergate thing really became popular, he was against everything that Gamergate stood for. So, you know, his involvement in the Gamergate movement was actually counterproductive. Surprise, surprise. I just find him obnoxious now. For a while, back in sort of 2016, mid 2016, I was watching a lot of Milo Yiannopoulos, thinking, you know, he had some good points and all that. And then under analysis, I realised really what my problem wasn't Milo Yiannopoulos. What wasn't what he was saying at all. Really, what was going through my mind at the time was a distinct dislike for Hillary Clinton that's never really gone away. I think that Hillary Clinton did a lot of damage to the Democrats in the last election.
Before I go, I have a little present for you. Well, lots of them, in fact. Some of them hold suffocating GCPD officers. Others, well, that'll be a fun surprise, won't it? Don't say I never gave you anything.
Ooh, me bum. Definitely got to go to the doctor about this. Oh shit, this again.
I saw that dingbat Harley Quinn wrapping up cops like presents for the Joker. Go set him loose if you can. The Joker's clowns have got cops locked up in cages. Cute, huh? Help us bust him out. me out! Somebody, please! Thanks. You're all right, buddy. You're gonna die. Give him one for us. Assistance.
Right, well, just do this bit now. I think I'm going to end this stream. I would look at what Tonka's probably saying about me, because I know what a bitter bloke he is, but I really can't be bothered. I just, you know, there's certain times when I've been on YouTube where I've followed stuff and then the person's turned out to be just another arsehole, and I think I'm at that point now where, you know...
You're not Batman. I wanted to kill Batman. This is the big one.
But that whole group of people are just another collection of arseholes.
This is the police.
It's a bit depressing, really.
Regroup.
But like I said, you should check out the I've forgotten his name again. Bionic Boy or Bio Boy or Boy Bionic or something like that. You know, he seems quite funny. At least he acts like a fucking adult, even if it is a stoned adult. But I don't mind that. Yeah, a little bit of genuine humour for a change. It's quite nice. Certainly better than listening to 1 week Tonka being mates with someone, the next week he's betrayed me. Oh. No, mate, he didn't betray you. You're just a hyperbolic, obsessive. Right, I'm going to save it there. The last prophet will rise again.